Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. For this episode, we had on my friend Hunter Askew, who is our first guest who was born and raised in Nashville. We hope you enjoy. Okay, so here we are, another episode of the Nashville Dads. I invited my friend Hunter Askew to be on the show. He's been listening to it since the first episode, I think.
Yep.
And we went to college together. We lived together for a year.
Oh, okay.
We went to Belmont at the same time. We were in the same fraternity, but it's a Belmont fraternity. So I always feel like, is it a real fraternity or not? Because Belmont was such a small school. But no, whenever we were both freshmen in college, it was like a fraternity that got founded there at Belmont, like the year we were freshmen. And I remember I joined mostly because I was like sitting in my dorm room doing nothing but playing video games and going to class. And someone's like, do you want to join this? And I was like, that's probably better than what I'm currently doing. I should probably make friends besides the two people who live next to me. So
Awesome. Yeah, I tried to do the same thing and join my freshman year.
Yeah.
To a fraternity that was just starting. Like we were going to be the founding
charter.
Yeah. Of Kentucky, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, there were so many times. I have a horrible memory to begin with, and I know that at least for ours, we had to remember
the Greek alphabet, probably
the Greek alphabet, and then remember the whole entire history of that fraternity. And I was like, nope, I don't care.
But also, like a fraternity at Kentucky, I feel like I would assume is a much more intense experience. Like Belmont didn't have
SEC school.
Yeah, Belmont didn't have on-house housing for the fraternity, so it was literally like an elevated social group.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it was more of a club than anything else.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what I found out with ours, like all the fraternities, I think were on campus.
Yeah.
And we had a dry campus, so
Yeah.
it was basically just an all guys dorm.
Yeah.
All guys dorm that had one thing or another in common.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But yeah, and then I just became an RA.
There you go. It's the best route to go. Free housing.
Yeah.
That's what we're all here for.
RA,
Always,
right?
yeah. Yep.
What about you?
I was not an RA.
Yeah.
I'm not good at responsibility over others.
Just a great intro for yourself on a dad.
Absolutely. Yes, I do have two children. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
yes,
Well,
yes.
yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
I am turning 35 here in a couple of weeks, so I feel like it's all over.
Yep.
I have a wife. We've been married for coming up on 7 years, and we've got two kids. I've got a son named George, who turns 6 in May, and then a daughter, Josephine. We call her Josie. She turns 2 next week.
I like Joseph.
Yeah,
Pretty cute.
That's a nice one.
yeah. We got our kids about 3 years apart or so, and it's. I was talking to Devin because they have. Well, you guys both have 1-year-old plus
Yeah.
or so.
Yeah. Yep.
But we are now officially out of that 1-year-old time frame, and so we're kind of back on that nice kind of equilibrium of being like, you know what, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. We don't need any more kids.
How was the transition from 1 to 2?
I will tell you, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. I'd always heard that once you have the whole once you have multiple kids, they're easier each time.
Yeah.
I strongly disagree with that.
Yep.
Now, I don't have 3.
Yeah.
And we know a ton of people who have 3, but going from 1, it's like playing tennis.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
George is bothering you, just kind of
Going
play
back
with him
and
for a little
forth.
bit and then volley him over the net.
Yeah.
And with 2, it's man to man.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
it's different. I mean, it's great. I wouldn't change anything about it, but we had discussed maybe having kids closer together, and then we were moving, and then COVID hit and everything, and so
Yeah.
we just kind of waited a little bit longer than we thought that we were going to, but it's been pretty good. It's
Awesome.
just a lot. So
Yeah. We had a friend over for dinner last night, and they have 2, 13 months, and then I think 5.
Oh.
So
Wait, 5-year-old or 5 months?
5-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said
no,
five. I was like, oh, how does that math work?
Yeah. They were talking about how that was kind of the perfect space to where you weren't having under 2 children running around. She could actually help with some things. So Yeah, me and Haley keep on bouncing it back and forth.
Yeah.
We have good days and we're like, yeah, we could do this.
Yeah.
And bad days we're like, nope, we're not doing this.
So, so what we did is we waited long enough that George, so you guys are, I know he's experienced it, you're experiencing it, but now Ada's got personality and she's, you know, those first few months or so can be tough, even if they're not sick, which I understand that she's been sick as long as she's been alive.
He
Sadly,
does
listen.
He does.
So
He pays attention.
But you know, we kind of got to the point with George where he had figured out his personality. He was old enough that he was up doing things, and then we said, all right, now that he's, you know, we've kind of got him a little bit figured out, let's throw a newborn into the mix.
Yeah, why not?
And it's kind of like we waited long enough that we got amnesia about all the tough parts about having a newborn and an under 1-year-old and everything. So that first few months of Josie, we were both kind of bewildered.
Yeah.
We were like, of course we knew we made the right decision, but at the same time we were kind of like, man, what do we sign up for?
Yeah, you can say you question it. I mean, that's I could probably goes through every person's head, even the moms out there. They question.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, George was a surprise for us. I mean, we knew that we wanted to have kids and everything, but he kind of popped up.
Yeah,
and then Josie, we actually went through the process of, you know, discussing it and deciding that we wanted to have another one, and you know, going through all of that, and some of those discussions at times, you know, can be tough when you're kind of saying like, hey, do we want to double down on this?
Yeah. It's not a casual decision. It's not a casual discussion to be
No.
like, hey, if we figured out our life a little bit, what do we want now? Let's add more children.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
More
and
chaos.
this was, we decided that we wanted to have another one in the spring of 2020.
Yeah.
So it was right after COVID hit. So I was very concerned just because there was, you know, no one knew anything.
There was zero certainty.
And so I was like, well, what if you get pregnant and you get COVID or, you know, all this different stuff. And we had already decided that we want to try to move. And so I'm the kind of person that if I sit there and try to like map it out, I'll never be satisfied and say like, this is the perfect time.
Yeah.
And so Grace kind of had to push me along a little bit, but it was a fantastic decision. But it's one of those things where like, if George hadn't popped up when he did, we've been married now for coming up, like I said, on 7 years. You know, if we didn't have any kids right now, would I still be in the position of saying like, oh yeah, I think we're ready now?
Yeah.
You know, it'd be one of those things like I would kind of keep pushing off. So it was definitely a God thing that it happened when it did, when we were young enough. So
I remember whenever we had Magnolia, Holly had they are 23 months apart. So literally Magnolia, like whenever Magnolia was born, Holly still wasn't technically 2 yet. So we had 2 kids under the age of 2 for like a week or like 2 weeks or something like that. So whenever Magnolia was born, Holly had such a hard time with it. We literally brought her bed down into our bedroom and just let her sleep in a bed in our bedroom. Because every single night she'd come down and be like, what's happening? Like, why are you guys still awake? What's going, like her ability to transition just needed some extra help. So we're like, you know what? You end up coming downstairs in the middle of the night anyway. We're just going to put your bed in here. And we're just going to fully lean into the chaos of all of this.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go. The first year of having 2 kids was, I'm good. I don't want to repeat that. I'm good. I feel like it was just insanely stressful. I was still working full time. So I feel like Heather and I were constantly like, are we doing right by either of our kids right now? Like, what are we doing? So yeah, 1 to 2 it's worth it. Clearly. I think before we decided to have a 3rd kid, Heather was like, okay, like in 10 years from now, we have 3 kids. Here are their ages. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's really fun. I really want that. It's like, yeah, but then you have to go through the first 2 years of a newborn's life again. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of work. Can I just get the reward though instead? Can I
I'll
skip
come back
all
in
that?
2 years.
Yeah.
Well, we've playfully discussed having Grace. My wife comes from a larger family, so she's got 3 siblings, and I just have a younger sister who's 3 years younger than me. So we kind of hit like we had 2 kids almost the exact same way that my parents did, and that's all I know. So I was kind of like, all right, well, this is fine, we're done. And Grace had always said she wanted another one, and you know, maybe somewhere down the line we decide that we want another one. I don't see that happening anytime soon. But we've also kind of played around with the idea of like, you know, maybe in the future adopting a kid. Yeah. But then that brings up the conversation of like, do we want to adopt a newborn or do we want to adopt like
a 2 or 3 or 4-year-old
or something like that?
Yeah.
And so on the one hand, I'm kind of like, well, you know, it'd be great to have a kid, you know, a newborn that would only, you know, more or less only know us as mom and dad.
Yeah.
But then you also got to deal with all like the, up till they're 6 months old and all that stuff and everything. So, I mean, it's all great. It's all great.
Yeah.
But it's a grind.
Oh, I bet it is.
It's a grind.
And what do you do for a living? I know you've been in that job since we got out of college, but what do you do?
I am the national team sales manager for a company called Kiefer Aquatics. We sell competitive swimming gear.
Okay.
So that was kind of my sport through high school. And I caught on with them, and I've been selling swimsuits now for my entire career.
Sweet.
So,
and that's not just the regular Joe Schmo swimsuits.
Yeah.
That's the
not swim trunks,
no,
right?
It's the like the racing goggles and $600 swimsuits and all like the official Olympic style stuff.
That's awesome. So have you met any Olympic medal winners?
I have.
Really?
I have. I've never met Michael Phelps. Everybody knows Michael Phelps.
Yeah, that's the one.
I've met the most famous swimmer right now her name's Katie Ledecky. She is.
Yeah, I've heard her.
She's rewritten the record book in
she has.
everything since she was, I think, 14 or 15. She's been to 3 or 4 Olympics now. But
is she coming back?
Oh yeah, she's only like, I want to say she's 26 or 27,
old.
if that old. I mean, she's still young, and most professional swimmers, if they keep at it, they can swim until like their early mid 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
when you started like 14, that's a pretty long athletic career.
20 years.
Well, yeah. I mean, most of those people are starting at 4 or 5 years old, and then
insane.
they swim all that time. I didn't have that sort of dedication. But
is there that much of a competitive swimming community in Nashville or Brentwood and everything have that? That's crazy to me.
It's huge. It's
Nashville
cool. Is a really cool hub for competitive swimming. There are there are 3 major clubs here that are like travel clubs, but they're all sending kids to the Olympic trials.
That's cool.
There's a girl here who swam for Nashville Aquatic Club and went to Harpeth Hall. She won the silver medal in the 200 IM at the Tokyo Olympics last year, 2 years ago. She won the world championship in that same event last year. I mean, she's like world-class swimmer.
That's really cool.
And she's from here and was raised here and everything. But people come here from all over the Southeast. It's kind of like Atlanta, Nashville, and then up into like near Raleigh, North Carolina and stuff.
Okay.
But
we did not have that in high school.
Really?
No. If you wanted to swim, I think you had to go to like an actual swim club.
Yeah.
But high schools, high schools here actually have swim teams with swimming pools and everything like
a lot
that?
of them do. Very few schools have their own pools. Like in Rutherford County, like Murfreesboro, a bunch of those high schools have their own pools.
Ooh, fancy.
But there really aren't enough pools here. It's kind of like hockey here. Like everybody's into hockey, but there really aren't enough rinks for everything. So that's when you've got like high school teams that are practicing at like 2 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
But I mean, swimming, most every school now has a swim team. And that's
I remember being a freshman in high school, and the seniors and juniors always would say that there is a swimming pool on the roof of the school. So as a freshman, you're like, oh, man, did you hear about that? Obviously there wasn't.
Yeah.
But
did you climb up there?
No, we didn't. I did not. I was one of the smart ones. I was like, I'll let you go up there if you
go
want
up
to.
there and tell me. You show me. Yeah.
But hearing of a high school having an actual swimming pool, I was like, wow, that's really fancy.
That's cool.
Well, the nicest pool in Nashville is probably at Innsworth.
Oh, well,
Innsworth High School.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, they built I want to say it was like $25 million natatorium, and it's this gorgeous.
Did you know natatorium was a word? I did not know.
What is natatorium?
Look, it's a fancy word for a massive tub, really.
Basically.
I'm gonna retire to the natatorium for my bath.
Yeah. Hunter is our first original, like born and raised in Nashville Dad. So he's like,
okay,
I'm a unicorn.
He's not from California.
No.
And he's one of the few people that's actually from Nashville and still lives here. Whenever you grew up, I'm sure Nashville didn't feel like a town that you'd be like, people are going to move here from across the country to come here.
No.
Does it feel odd that like Nashville is as much of a like hot spot for people to move as it is?
I've lived here my entire life, and so a lot of the things people talk about that are fun to do in Nashville don't really mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Broadway was fun to do in college, and
Yep.
now I'm like, I wouldn't go downtown if you paid me.
Oh my gosh, it's just insane
Yeah.
how many
It's
people
an
are there.
experience.
It is.
Yeah, it's an experience, all right. But I mean, you know, we've got beautiful parks, we've got all this great food scene and everything, and all this stuff. But a lot of those things I feel like you can find other places as well.
Yeah.
So it's different for me just because I've lived here my entire life, seen all these people who are obsessed with Nashville and obsessed with this area, which obviously I like it because I've decided to live here and I love living here.
Yeah.
But just droves of people moving here.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we both moved here, so I mean, we're part of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I moved here, Nashville looked totally different.
Yeah.
There were so many vacant lots.
What year did you move here?
2008.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember all like the Mumbrian didn't have much, the Gulch didn't have much.
The Gulch was nothing.
Yeah, the Gulch was
Construction.
mostly construction.
Yeah.
Still had that that area where like Urban Outfitters was,
Yeah,
but
that's
that was
right.
that was about it.
It was City Hall originally. It was a music venue. Then they got turned into.
Okay, so I wasn't there before then.
Yep,
Yeah,
there you go.
but
the thing that's interesting to me about Nashville is not so much like Nashville, the city, how many buildings they're putting in and all this different stuff. It's more the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember when Spring Hill was nothing.
Yeah.
And Spring Hill was kind of like the backwater, and now Spring Hill is this massive, like almost as big as Franklin, almost as big as Murfreesboro, and it's just the way that everything has just sprawled out. Well, kind of on the same vein is that my wife, her family is all from Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I really like Memphis, and it's still pretty cheap compared to living in Nashville.
Yeah.
And so we've discussed before,
moving there.
like, you know, my parents are here, her parents are here, so it doesn't make
yeah.
any sense for us to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Do you find that you use since you do have both sets of parents, do you find that you use them quite often for like babysitting or things like that, dropping them off?
Yes, and I was wondering when that was going to come up. So we're in. I know Devin knows this, but we're in an incredibly blessed, lucky situation. So my parents, we live in Franklin. We're 10, 15 minutes down I-65 from my parents.
Okay.
Her parents live 10 minutes further south in Franklin.
Wow.
And then her beloved aunt lives in Franklin as well. And what makes that super great is that they all love our kids and they all want to be around our kids.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
So, yeah. So we survive on the more or less free childcare that we get from all three of them. My parents pick up our kids from daycare on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I was going to ask about that if you did the daycare or not.
Well, yeah, like preschool. It's like a church Mother's Day out
Okay.
type thing. George will go to kindergarten next year. And then my mother-in-law keeps our daughter on during the day on Mondays and Wednesdays. So both Grace and I work from home.
Okay.
So it would be almost impossible if we didn't have that. But yeah, we are very aware of how lucky we are to be in that situation.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that we're like, it's Friday night and we're saying, hey, we want to go do this, that, or the other. Can you help us out?
Yeah.
And they have done that before, but we actively try not to kind of
Abuse it.
overuse
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
and,
like, Justin, your Ada's been sick a ton, but like just weekday help is almost more important to me than weekend help. Because like weekday is like, oh no, to be able to support the life we're trying to live, I have to go to this job.
Yep.
And so, is there any form of help that doesn't then like use up all the money I'm literally making today, so I can pay for other stuff?
Yeah.
So
yeah, my parents, if they've got something going on, my dad's got his own catering company. My mom is a consultant. So they've constantly got things going on in the evenings or early in the morning or stuff like that. So there have been times when it doesn't work out, and that's been happening fairly frequently. So it has been kind of tough recently, just them being at home a lot when we're trying to work.
Yeah.
So
is what it is.
it is what it is. But we both enjoy what we do for work, and so we're not, we're not making $1 million, but we're doing well enough to be comfortable. But we definitely couldn't afford the $30,000 a year to do childcare and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It definitely is.
I've got friends who talk about it, and they're just like 2 kids, 5 days a week for 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that is just ridiculously expensive.
Well, it's also like whenever you go and pick up your kid, because we used to have to do that. We drop the kids off at like 7:30 and hopefully pick them up by like 5:30. Like, like the kids have also been with other people all day. So when they finally get to you, like their personalities are slightly different. You're also trying to connect. You're also trying to eat dinner. So like all of those aspects of it also are just like exhausting.
Yeah.
Because you're like, wait, what kid did I pick up today? Like, is this my child? Because this kid isn't acting like the child I normally know. And it's like, oh, they've just been with a stranger. Or like, turnover in a daycare is like so easy. It's hard to have a consistent teacher at a daycare is a really rare thing to find. So like, oh, who's their teacher this week is like almost a joke Heather and I would have with each other. It's like, cool, this is their teacher this month. Next month it'll probably be a different one. And it's just hard to keep people hired to those type of jobs. Yeah. But Justin, since we met up last, what's something that was good and something that's kind of meh?
Something good?
Yeah.
Ada hasn't really been sick.
Yeah, she looks super cute and happy downstairs whenever we walked in.
Like 2 weeks now.
Oh, we said it out loud. I'm sorry.
Yeah, where's the wood? Knock on wood. But yeah, so super grateful for that because man, when she does get sick, and you've probably heard this many a times, she goes out with a bang. Whatever
she goes
it
all
is.
in on that sickness.
Yeah, and then usually me or Haley will get sick a week after that. So it's usually like a 2 week thing of sickness. So super grateful, and hopefully now I didn't jinx myself.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I made you say it loud.
By the way, I have the flu.
Oh crap, Hunter!
Get out of here.
I wonder why he looks so sweaty.
Sweaty
No,
balls.
in that the truth though, it's almost like it's like a trail. It's like trailing. So your kid comes home sick, and you can almost like mark it down.
Yeah.
You said, I'll be fine for a few days, but I know it's coming.
Yep. Especially when she looks at you and smiles and then coughs right into your face.
Yes.
And you're like, awesome.
Thank you.
Welcome, germs. Welcome.
Well, they also want to cuddle whenever they don't feel good. And you're like, oh, I need to offer comfort. But like...
She doesn't cuddle with me.
She'll
only cuddle with Mama.
You look cuddly.
I guess. Is that a good thing?
Man, neither of our kids will cuddle.
Really?
I wish. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife isn't a big cuddler, which is really okay. But, like, if it's... We turn off the light and we both go to our corners.
That's how I go to bed.
But neither of our kids got that. They're both like my wife. They're not big. I mean, unless they're super sleepy or something.
Yeah.
If I'm laying on the couch watching football or something, no one's gonna.
They'll just run up and hit you in the head and then run away.
Yeah. Well.
Heather and I's 10-year anniversary is on February 2nd.
Awesome.
So 10 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Crazy
congrats.
to realize. Yeah.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, it is.
That is.
Yeah, right? It's
And I can't believe that that's a thing to say. But I know so many people who haven't made it that far. So
me too.
And
it is something to celebrate. We make each other laugh still, and we're trying to figure out everything together, and that's pretty lucky. So, because it's not a guarantee at all.
No.
I forget, how long have you been married, Justin?
Going on 6 years in October, so I guess five and a half or 5 in a couple months. With my previous marriage, I was married for a little over between 7 and 8 years.
Right.
Yeah. I got married young, 23. 2008. Mm-hmm. So, and we came straight down here. But yeah, a little over 5 months with Haley, and a little over 7 years total.
That's cool.
Yeah. We're just going strong.
That's right.
We're going strong.
Yeah. So we're gonna cash in all of our like chips with like parents and like sister-in-law and stuff like that. So we're going to go to London next week, which I've never been to. We've never been to Europe. We've been out of the country like once. We jokingly had said Nickel Creek is playing at a church in London.
Heck yeah.
And so we were like, if the Ryman sells out, we should probably just go see them in London. Yeah. And then it sold out like in 3 minutes. And we're like, we have to go to London now. It's just how it works out. So Heather's sister and brother-in-law are going to drive in from Baltimore, and we'll be there from we're going to leave Wednesday night and come back Sunday night. So they'll be here. My parents will come down next weekend just to kind of give some relief. So feel very lucky about it. So yeah, it'll be really weird to, Hunter, I don't know if your kids are like this, but we might actually have a conversation and not be asked questions about what we just said the entire time. So it's a very, very fun thing to have as a reality. So yeah, that'll be really cool. Be really fun.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
You'll have to tell your story Next time I record.
That's right.
London.
London. Yep. What about you, Hunter? What's something that's been good in the past like 2 weeks or so?
Well, I mean, most everything has been going okay except for the all sorts of sicknesses that we've had. But going back to what I was saying earlier about, you know, having 2 kids and everything, our son George has been very good with Josie recently.
Oh,
She's
that's
been
awesome.
sick.
Yeah.
And he's been very, you know, wants to help her out, wants to go love on her and everything. And then Josie's just really, she's hit the afterburners on her personality and especially words. I feel like every day there's a new word.
That's
Most
great.
of them are no or at an insane decibel.
Yeah.
But she is flourishing into this little girl. She
so
loves to dance. She loves to.
Yeah.
Do you think George had anything to do with helping bring that personality out?
Yeah, I think so. He's got a very upfront personality. He doesn't really hide much, and so when he's interacting with Josie, he's like, if he's upset with her, he's gonna let you know that he's upset with her. But that's not that common. But he wants her to be involved with stuff. We've got a trampoline in the backyard. If he goes out the trampoline, he wants her to come with him.
That's cool.
They want to play things together. But they're very. I mean, he is very much a boy. He's, you know, he's doing all the boy stuff. So it's not like, you know, he's sitting down playing dolls with her or anything. But he's just willing to help.
That's cute.
And wants to help. And they're both this way. If one of them's upset, she'll come up and try to comfort him and everything. So that's been fun getting to see.
Yeah.
Getting to see them kind of interact like that. We understand that's not going to last. That's not. And I mean, on occasion there are blow-ups and everything, but for right now, especially at these ages when they're still like young and sweet,
you're enjoying it. Yeah, we had to teach our kids that of like Magnolia would fall down and Holly would just be like, "I didn't do it," and I'm like, "That's no. You stop, you walk back, you say, Magnolia, are you okay?" And you check on them. I don't like. It doesn't matter if you tripped your sister or not. Just if someone falls down and gets hurt, walk back and say, "Hey, are you okay?" And then maybe come and tell me. But
that's also suspicious that your the first words
reaction is like, "I didn't do it." That's normally not a good sign.
Oh yeah, George's favorite thing. See, he does enjoy telling on her. I don't think that he gets like pleasure out of it. He just likes being the town crier.
If Holly sees the opportunity to tell on Magnolia, she will do it every single time.
I did that with my sister as well.
Yeah,
I think there's always that one sibling that is just the like you said, the town crier.
Real helpful.
Yep, I was definitely that one. But I don't really have any ones.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, your kid's actually healthy, so I mean, like that's normally
work's going good right now.
Yeah, just good vibes.
Yeah,
it's a very sleepy Sunday. It's rainy.
Yep. That's why I had to drink some coffee.
Nice. We did this afternoon. Josh took like a 2-hour nap, and the girls played with each other and didn't fight. So Heather read a book, and I played guitar for like an hour. And I'm like, what is this? Did I actually do something I want to do while I'm awake enough to actually do it? And Heather was like, I think I just read a book uninterrupted for like 45. Like, we're both like, what are they trying? Are they trying to watch a movie later? Like, what? Like, why are they being so good? So, natural skepticism.
Yeah, I love that, like that developing, like the parents' like suspicion.
Yes, the spider sense.
Yeah. We'll have something on the TV downstairs or something, and we'll be up trying to watch something, and 10 minutes will pass without anything. We'll both kind of look at each other and be like,
"They're up to no good."
Check.
Something.
Yeah.
It's not.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
It rarely is, but it's that like sixth sense that I never understood when I was a kid. Like my parents always knew what I was doing.
How did they know?
I don't know.
But I don't feel like I have too many mez either. Things been going pretty chill. Yeah. Pretty good. Hunter, you got any mez? You got anything?
Yeah, I mean, just the sickness. Grace, Josie brought home a cold, and that developed into an ear infection for her, which then she gave me an ear infection.
That's
which
so sweet of her.
Burst.
It's so nice to share.
But yikes, that coincided, so we put her on some antibiotic, and that lined up perfectly with all of a sudden her going through a sleep regression
fantastic.
Like she's been for the last year, she's been pretty simple. We put her down at, whatever time at night, and then she's pretty steady to be asleep for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Or so. And all of a sudden, she doesn't want to go to sleep. She'll wake up in the middle of the night.
Yep.
She doesn't want to nap. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
Going back to us working from home, she doesn't want to nap.
Man.
So, but past that, we're doing
hanging in there,
doing just fine.
Doing the best you can.
Doing the best you can.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all I got. Do you got anything else, Justin?
I got it. That's all I got.
We're probably gonna watch a little bit. We're gonna watch the end of the first half. We've all been distracted now by the Bengals Bills game. So Hunter, thanks for being on.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Can I just say that I'm so honored to be on this.
Thanks for listening.
Devin, I don't know if you texted me. I think you texted me and said, "Hey, I'm starting a podcast for dads," and I was like, "Well, that sounds right up my alley."
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Like I said, Justin, I feel like I've gotten to know you. This is the first time that I've met you.
Yeah,
it's a weird feeling.
I know all about your daughter and all the crazy medical bills you guys have probably accrued.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my medical bill was only $11.
Oh, there you go.
We've expensed so much.
Yeah, this is really cool. I feel honored to be invited on this.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, I do think I told Justin you're the type of friend where I was like, oh, hey, man, I'm going to start this podcast. And you're like, I'm going to listen to every episode. And I was like, oh, that's nice of you. And I'm like, oh, no, he actually means it. He actually is.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to have you on again, man. And thanks for listening.
If I lived closer, I wish I could do the dad walks.
Hunter, if you are in our neighborhood, again, like a mile or two from us is Creve Hall Bagel Company. We just met up with Ben, and it's like sourdough bagels. He makes them fresh every single day. They're delicious. They're fantastic. So usually whenever like Heather and I are like, let's do a treat for breakfast, we normally go get their bagels and bring them back. So next time you're up in this area, you should definitely check out Creve Hall Bagel Company.
Yeah, and anybody else listening, check them out.
You should.
Tell all my friends.
Thank you.
See ya.
Taking Back Sunday reference. Okay, bye.
Bye.
We really hope you enjoyed that episode. Please make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Nashville Dads. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.